News from the Sultanate of Oman Television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq presides over the meeting of the Council of Ministers at Al Baraka Palace. His Majesty Sultan issued 2 royal decrees. His Majesty confers orders on a number of their Highnesses and Excellencies and commanders of the Sultan's armed forces, the Royal Oman Police and other military and security apparatus. His Majesty receives capable greetings on the occasion of assuming power. And the Sultanate marks the 11th of January anniversary of His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq's assuming power. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty the Sultan Haitham bin Tariq presided over this morning the meeting of the Council of Ministers at Al Baraka Palace. At the beginning, His Majesty the Sultan thanked the Almighty Allah for the blessings bestowed upon this dear country and its citizens, praying to Almighty to make New Year 2021 a year of good omen and blessings for the Sultanate and for those living in this good land. His Majesty hailed what have been achieved in the Omani land of pioneering achievements due to the wise leadership of the late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, may Allah rest his soul in peace. He indicated that the 11th of January, which coincides with the anniversary of His Majesty's assumption for power of the country, is the beginning to continue the renewed blessed Renaissance march with steady steps towards bright future, and for the dear country to achieve further accomplishments in all fields to fulfill ambitions and aspirations of all. His Majesty the Sultan indicated that a new basic law for the state will be issued that takes into account the requirements of the next phase of this country and in line with aspirations and future visions, and indicates that a specific and stable mechanism for the succession of power has been established in the new basic law. In the context of His Majesty's interest and his follow-up on the performance of the government in all units of the state's administrative apparatus, the basic law devotes a special chapter to follow up the progress of the work in government units. His Majesty's belief on the importance of the role of the Council of Oman and his estimated contributions to the comprehensive development process, a special law for the Council of Oman will be issued, highlighting its roles, terms of reference, and mechanisms of action. On the attention of His Majesty the Sultan to the opinions expressed by the citizens, His Majesty reiterated the importance of the officials, including the Excellencies, the Ministers, Under-Secretaries, Chairmen of the authorities and service establishments, to intensify their meetings with citizens and all beneficiaries of the services provided by their units, each in their respective fields, with clarification of programs and measures taken by the government, especially with regard to the policies and provided services and the mechanisms. His Majesty affirmed the priority of the next phase of employing citizens in the public and private sectors, directing the authorities concerned to take the necessary measures for appointment in the various state institutions according to their actual needs, and to work with the private sector to play its role in this aspect and motivate it to absorb job seekers in its different sectors. Emphasizing in continued keenness and interest in everything related to public health and the developments resulting from the spread of the coronavirus COVID-19, His Majesty listened to the plan of the authorities concerned with providing vaccines to segments of the society, praising the efforts made in this aspect and stressed the importance of taking all necessary measures to provide these vaccines. On the Gulf level, His Majesty Sultan held the GCC summit held recently in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, through which positive results were achieved in the understanding level among the GCC countries. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq also held the pioneering role conducted by late His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Jabr Sabah, Emir of the State of Kuwait, may his soul rest in peace, in supporting the GCC march in achieving the aspirations of their peoples. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq issued two royal decrees. Royal Decree number 6/2021 on issue of basic statute of the states, affirming the principles on which the Sultanate of Oman is established and its policies are guided in various fields, and on which it promoted locally, regionally, and internationally, promoting Oman's international status and its role in establishing the foundations of justice and the pillars of equity, security, stability, and peace between states and peoples. Determined to continue the effort to shape up a better future that is featured with more achievements that benefit the country and the citizens. Continuing to engage the country's citizens and empowering them to shape their future in all spheres of life, preserving the nation, protecting its territories, its unity and social fabric, and safeguarding its civilizational foundations, promoting public rights, duties, and freedoms, supporting the state's institutions, and promoting the principles of the Shura, and based on the requirements of the public interest, it has been decreed as follows. Article 1. The basic statute of the state shall be issued in the attached format. Article 2, Royal Decree number 101/96 and 99/2011 shall be cancelled. Article 3, this decree shall be published in the Official Gazette and come into force from the date of its issue. Royal Decree number 7/2021 on the issue of Oman Council Law. After reviewing the basic statute of the state and based on the requirements of the public interest, it has been decreed as follows. Article 1, the attached law shall apply on the matter of Oman Council. Article 2, Royal Decrees number 86/97, 87/97, and 88/97 shall be cancelled. All that contradicts with this decree and the attached law or contravenes with the provisions shall be cancelled. Article 3, this decree shall be published in the Official Gazette and come into force from the date of its issue. The two royal decrees came to fulfill Oman's requirement in the next stage and in conformity with Oman Vision 2040. The main highlights of the Royal Decree number 6/2021 on the basic statute of the state includes the following. Establishing a specific and stable mechanism for transfer of power in Oman. Establishing a mechanism for designating a crown prince, defining his responsibilities and powers. Promoting the rule of law and the independence of judiciary as the basic of governance. The new basic statute of the state affirms on the role of the state in securing more rights and freedom for citizens especially in the matters of gender, equality, welfare for children, people with special needs, and the youth. The mandatory nature of basic education and encouragement of establishing universities, promoting research, and nurturing talents and innovators. The right to living, human dignity, secured living, and the sanctity of private lives. The prosecution or protection of the national heritage and considering any trade or assault on national heritage shall be deemed an offense punishable under the law. The basic statute of the state affirms prison's role in reform and rehabilitation. The law reaffirms that prisons shall be under judicial oversight. The basic statute of the state dedicated a chapter on government performance, oversight by establishing a committee directly reporting to His Majesty to follow and evaluate the performance of ministers, under-secretaries, and those in the similar capacity. Special provisions to support state administrative audits in achieving good governance is included, underscoring the significance of Oman Council's role and its contributions to the comprehensive development march of the nation. The new basic statute of the state has a chapter on the role and jurisdictions of Oman Council, including endorsing and amending draft laws, referred from the government proposing draft laws and discussing development plans and state general budgets, in addition to Shura follow-up instruments. The Oman Council law was issued by Royal Decree number 7/2021. The law includes Oman Council's jurisdictions, membership requirements, rights and obligations of the members, and all matters regulating the council affairs. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq at Al Barka Palace this morning conferred a number of royal orders on a number of their highnesses and excellencies and commanders of the Sultan's armed forces, the Royal Oman Police, and other military and security apparatus in appreciation of their role in performing the national duty. His Majesty conferred the Order of Sultan Qaboos First Class on His Highness Sayyid Shihab bin Tariq bin Taimur Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for Defense Affairs. And His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed Al Nu'mani, Minister of Royal Office. His Majesty also conferred the Military Glory Order, First Class, on His Excellency Lieutenant General Janab Sayyid Mundhir bin Majid bin Saeed Al Saeed, Head of the Liaison and Coordination at the Royal Office. His Majesty conferred the Sultan Qaboos Order First Class on His Excellency Lieutenant General Hassan bin Mohsen Ashraqi, Inspector General of Police and Customs. His Excellency Lieutenant General Saeed bin Ali bin Zahir Al-Hilali, Head of the Internal Security Apparatus. His Excellency Mohammed bin Nasser bin Mohammed Al-Rasbi, Secretary General of the Ministry of Defense. And Lieutenant General Ahmed bin Harith bin Nasser al-Nabhani, Chief of Staff of the Sultan's Armed Forces. His Majesty bestowed the Order of Sultan Qaboos Second Class on Major General Mathar bin Salim bin Rashid al-Blushi, Commander of the Royal Army of Oman. Air Vice Marshal Mathar bin Ali bin Mathar al-Ubaidani, Commander of the Royal Air Force of Oman. Rear Admiral Abdullah bin Khamis al-Raisi, Commander of the Royal Navy of Oman. And Major General Khalifa bin Abdullah Junabi, Commander of the Royal Guard of Oman. His Majesty also conferred the Sultan Qaboos Order Second Class on Major General Amr bin Salim bin Barak al-Amri, Commander of the Sultan's Special Forces. And Major General Salim bin Salem bin Ali Qatan, Commander of the National Defense College. Major General Suleiman bin Mohammed bin Hamil Harthi, Assistant Inspector General of Police and Customs for Administrative and Financial Affairs. Major General Hamad bin Suleiman bin Barak al-Hatmi, Inspector General of Police and Customs for Operations. And Major General Abdullah bin Ali bin Hamad al-Harthi, Head of the Public Authority for Civil Defense and Ambulance. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq also conferred the Sultan Qaboos Order Second Class on Major General Hossein bin Hilal bin Khalifa al-Alawi, Assistant Head of the Internal Security Service for Operations. Major General Ahmed bin Ali bin Salman Khashoggi, Secretary General of the National Security Council at the Royal Office. Major General Hamad bin Nasser al-Nabhani, Secretary General of the Military Affairs at the Royal Office. Air Vice Marshal Saleh bin Hamid al-Siyabi, Military ADC of His Majesty the Sultan. And Brigadier General Muhammad bin Hamad al-Sarmi, Military ADC of His Majesty the Sultan. On the anniversary of His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq's assuming leadership in the Sultanate, His Highness Sayyid Shihab bin Tariq Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for Defence Affairs, has sent cable of greetings to His Majesty the Sultan, reading as follows. In his cable, he prayed to Almighty Allah to protect His Majesty the Sultan. He added that he is honoured, and so are Your Majesty's Armed Forces, the triumphant Firak forces, and all personnel of the Ministry of Defence, to express their heartfelt wishes to His Majesty on the first anniversary of the accession day, praying to the Almighty Allah to bring back this anniversary many years to come and grant His Majesty good health and happiness all along. He added that the accession day is a great occasion that has registered proudly in records of the glorious Omani history and has occupied its deserved lofty status in the modern Omani state due to its profound positive implications. Omani people proved that they are men of strong will and that Oman is as staunch and sturdy as its high mountains, thanks to its people's commitment to the values of the country's blessed renaissance. All are committed to the pledge of placing Oman on the ranks of advanced nations. He also added that the decisions undertaken under His Majesty's directives reflecting far-sighted vision and has transformed Oman and has proved that the renewed renaissance under the wise leadership will meet the aspirations of the noble Omani people, on the top of which comes Oman Vision 2040. He added that while saluting His Majesty on these auspicious occasions, the armed forces, Firak forces, and personnel of the Defence Ministry reiterate the allegiance and safeguard the gains of the country's renaissance towards the accomplishment of further progress and prosperity. He concluded his cable by praying to the Almighty Allah to protect His Majesty. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq has received a cable of greetings on His Majesty's Accession Day anniversary from Sayyid Khalid bin Hilal Al Busaidi, Minister of the Diwan of the Royal Court, as follows. He said that on the auspicious occasion of your Accession Day anniversary, he is honoured, and so are all personnel of the Diwan of the Royal Court, to greet His Majesty and express the most heartfelt wishes that we be blessed with continued good health. He added that the modern blessed Renaissance, whose solid foundations were laid down by the late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said, in half a century is still pressing ahead and gaining momentum under His Majesty's prudent leadership towards wider horizons of the progress and prosperity. He added that the personnel of the Diwan Royal Court hereby reiterate their pledge and allegiance, vowing to follow His Majesty's wise directives and with strong will and determination carry out their national duties in serving the country as loyally as desired by His Majesty. He concluded his cable by saying, may the Almighty Allah protect His Majesty, may He bestow all His bounties on you and perpetuate on Oman the bounties of security, peace and stability. On the anniversary of His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq's assuming leadership in the Sultanate, His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed Naamani, Minister of the Royal Office, Head of the Supreme Commander Office, has sent a cable of greetings to His Majesty the Sultan. He said the 11th of January was the beginning of the new chapter in the great history of the Sultanate, as the country prepared to move forward with further development along with its blessed Renaissance march. He added that the Sultanate is a great country that enjoys stability, security, tolerance and peace. He said that on this day, His Majesty the Sultan was declared as the leader of the country, as his great vision continues towards achieving further progress and prosperity for the loyal people of this beloved country with the launch of Oman Vision 2040. He further said that His Majesty's keenness towards following up the economic and health challenges in the country reflected positively in reducing the impact on the people of this country. He concluded his cable by praying to Allah the Almighty to protect His Majesty and grant him success in leading this beloved country. On this occasion, His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq also received a cable of greetings from His Excellency Lieutenant General Saeed bin Ali Al-Hilali, head of the Internal Security Service. In the cable, he extended his sincere greetings and best wishes, along with the affiliates of the Internal Security Services, to His Majesty, praying to Almighty to bless His Majesty and protect him for their dear homeland as a source of strength and pride. His Excellency added that His Majesty Sultan will lead the blessed nations with wise vision for a brighter future and horizons of sustainable growth during the current challenges. He added that by Allah's grace, Oman was blessed with great leaders that exerted great efforts to protect its achievement and contribute towards bringing a better future of its loyal citizens. His Excellency, the head of the Internal Security Service, concluded his cable by expressing allegiance and loyalty to protect the soil of this dear country, praying to Almighty Allah to bestow upon His Majesty Sultan happiness and welfare. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq has received a cable of greetings on His Majesty's Accession Day and anniversary from His Excellency Lieutenant General Hassan bin Mohsen Ashraqi, Inspector General of the Police and Customs, as follows. He wished His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq, may the Almighty Allah to protect him. He added, it is an honor for him and Royal Oman Police personnel to extend their sincere greetings on the occasion of the first anniversary of His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq assuming leadership in the Sultanate, praying to the Almighty Allah to bring this anniversary on His Majesty the Sultan for many years to come and bestow upon him great health and happiness. His Excellency the Inspector General of Police and Customs expressed his best wishes to His Majesty the Sultan to continue the development march on this beloved country. He also added that Royal Oman Police personnel take this chance to renew their gratitude and loyalty to the leader of Oman, His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq. His Excellency Sheikh Abdul Malik bin Abdullah Al Khalili, Chairman of the State Council, sent a cable of greetings to His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq on the anniversary of assuming leadership in the Sultanate. In his cable, the Chairman of the State Council said that he is honored on behalf of himself, the honorable members of the State Council, and its employees to forward their sincere, heartfelt greetings to His Majesty the Sultan, appealing to Allah the Almighty to grant His Majesty good health and well-being. He also forwarded his greetings towards the loyal people of Oman and congratulated them on the great achievements of the blessed Renaissance under the prosperous reign of His Majesty the Sultan. He added that despite the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic challenges facing the country, His Majesty, through his wise vision, was able to overcome such challenges so that safety and security will prevail in the country. He concluded his cable by praying to Almighty Allah to crown His Majesty with success and bestow upon him His blessings and bounties, and to return such occasions on His Majesty and his people with happiness, stability, and prosperity. His Excellency Sheikh Khalid bin Hilal Al-Mali, Chairman of the Shura Council, sent a cable of greetings to His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq on the anniversary of assuming leadership in the Sultanate. In the cable, he said that he was honored on behalf of himself and the Excellencies, the members and employees of the Shura Council, to extend sincere greetings, best wishes, and gratitude to His Majesty the Sultan, praying to Almighty Allah to protect him and bestow upon him and good health and long life. He added that 1 year has passed since His Majesty vowed to lead this country towards a better future through hard work, dedication, and sacrifice, as the new renaissance of Oman leads towards a glorious horizon along with the country's promising vision to bring welfare for its loyal people. They said that they renew loyalty and obedience to His Majesty's wise leadership while working to contribute in the development of the country and protecting its achievements. He concluded by praying to Almighty Allah to protect His Majesty and grant him success in leading this beloved country. On the 11th of January, the Sultanate has stepped towards a second renaissance. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq assumed power, and since then the march of the developments continued with confidence. More details with a report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Rubai.
Oman, the great country which has contributed effectively in history and humanitarian service, a country which books wrote about its peace, love and friendship to other countries. From the beginning of Islamic era, this country was an example of honesty and firm human values, blessed by the prayers of the Prophet, peace be upon him, for its people, land and seas to make them rich with livelihood. It is a great country from which great leaders emerged with good examples for courage, mercy and justice. On the 11th of January 2020, the country has stepped toward a new renaissance when His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq assumed power. In his first speech after his inauguration as Sultan of the country, he confirmed that he would follow the enlightened steps of the late Sultan Qaboos bin Said, who took it firmly and resolutely to the future, preserving what he had accomplished and building on it. And he also confirmed that he would mark the steps of the late Sultan in foreign policy on the principles that he laid out for the Sultanate's foreign policy, which is based on peaceful coexistence between nations and peoples, good neighborliness, non-interference in the internal affairs of others, and respect for the state sovereignty. His Majesty received his primary education at the Saidiya School in Muscat and continued secondary education and then university in the United Kingdom at the University of Oxford at Pembroke College in Oxford. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq, may Allah bless him, assumed several positions during his career, and it is not a coincidence that the late Sultan, may Allah rest his soul in peace, appointed His Majesty Sultan Haitham in the two most important schools that could prepare a man worthy of Oman's leadership, namely the School of Diplomacy, when His Majesty engaged in work in the Omani Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1979 and spanned about 23 years. The second school in which His Majesty was prepared, it was the School of Heritage and Culture, when he worked as a Minister of Heritage and Culture for nearly 18 years, during which he approached the greatness of Omani history, heritage and culture and knew the proximity of the country's history. During the time when he was a Minister of Heritage and Culture, the Sultanate celebrated Muscat as the capital of Arab culture in 2006, where many activities were held from the Governorate of Musandam to the Governorate of Dhofar. The Sultanate celebrated Nizwa as the capital for Islamic culture in 2015 after it was chosen by the Islamic Organization for Education, Culture and Science. In the same year, the Nizwa Center for Culture was opened. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq, may Allah protect him, has broad interest including sports concerns, as he headed the first Omani Football Association during the period from 1983 to 1986, a stage which witnessed the establishment of many organizational aspects in the work of football and sports clubs in the Sultanate. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq, may Allah bless him, chaired the main committee for the Future Vision Oman 2040, which formulated that vision with complete perfection and high accuracy in light of a broad societal consensus, with the participation of all the different groups of society to be absorbed by the economic and social reality and look forward to the future objectively, to be considered as a basic guide and reference for planning work in the next 2 decades. In this regard, His Majesty, may Allah bless him, said on the 5th of December 2017 at the start of the Future Vision Forum held at the Oman Convention and Exhibition Center under the patronage of His Majesty, the conscious understanding and rational extrapolation of reality and the future will make us compatible in our orientations in harmony with our commitments towards building Oman. What we seek by the year 2040, explaining that shaping the future or making tomorrow has become one of the basics for the prosperity and progress of societies and one of the means of knowledge, hard work and purposeful cooperation to build a bright future if we positively do it without abandoning or neutralizing our national identity and our authentic heritage, which is one of the secrets of our uniqueness and our strength in a time of successive major developments. On January 26, 2019, His Majesty affirmed in a speech delivered at the opening session of the National Conference for the Future Vision Oman 2040, based on the outputs of those practical stages, strategic directions were defined according to primary goals that included education, scientific research, empowering national capabilities, and achieving well-being, sustainability of the pillar of pioneering health care and economic management that supports economic diversification, the development of the labor market environment and employment, and allows the private sector to take the initiative to lead a competitive national economy integrated with the global economy, preserving the environmental sustainability and a comprehensive geographical development based on the principle of decentralization, partnership, and complementarity of roles between the governments, the private sector and society, and there is no doubt that all these priorities are consistent with the strategic orientation towards a society that is proud of its identity and culture and is committed to its citizenship, so that the vision document Allah Almighty wills is a true reflection of the aspirations and visions of the people of Oman towards future horizons we see. The Sultanate of Oman is now entering the implementation of the 2040 vision phase after His Majesty delivered a speech at the Council of Ministers meeting on the 15th of December 2020, which coincides with the beginning with the 10th five-year plan. May Allah the Almighty protect Oman, His Majesty, and its people.
In spite of turbulent economic conditions, Oman maintained its stability among all over the world. Today, we have new strategic objectives with the Oman Vision 2040, and there is a lot to achieve. 75 strategic objectives and 68 indicators. We need to be focused and we need to be together, collaborative and cooperate to achieve the vision. Under His Majesty's leadership, we trust that we can achieve the same.
I know that we are in a very difficult period now. We have got a lot of economical problems. We have got a lot of financial problems. We have got issues concerned with our health and safety. But I'm very sure that with a very hard work and the new reform things that which we are coming in 5 years' time, we will emerge as a much better country, much stronger.
I think the fiscal year 2021 holds with it challenges as much as opportunities as well. And we urge the SME sector in Oman to make use of these opportunities, one way or another. There are maybe technology-related opportunities that the SME can leverage on. There are also other industrial opportunities. in terms of spending, but then that is where creativity can play a role. The governance that the government is imposing on not only the companies, government-related companies, but even the government ministries will help in, one way or another serving the SMEs and serving also to attract other investors outside Oman.
Despite the challenges faced by His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq Al Saeed in his first year, His Majesty was able to achieve great milestones in his first year, starting from the 20-year clear vision direction, as well as very clear KPIs for all government entities. His Majesty was also able to reduce the government unnecessary spending and has empowered different governance so as to reduce centralization.
In continuation of the development march by late Sultan Qaboos, may Allah rest his soul in peace, His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq will lead the beloved country Oman towards further progress and prosperity. The Oman Vision 2040 started coinciding with the 10th five-year plan. One of the projects in the vision is Al Irfan City, which is expected to achieve a growth of 3.5% of the gross domestic product during the upcoming 5 years. The vision of His Majesty will be implemented along with the loyal citizens, as the upcoming 2 decades will focus on human resources, economy, state apparatus, and sustainable environment. The Blessed Renaissance March will move forward to build a great future for the beloved country, Oman, and bring welfare for its people. Oman Vision 2040 and the 10th five-year development plan are being based on top national priorities that are meant for achieving comprehensive sustainable developments in various fields. One of these priorities is sustainable cities and governorates developments. More on the report.
In December 2020, during the meeting of the Council of Ministers, His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq issued directives for Their Excellencies the Governors to hold periodical meetings with sheikhs, dignitaries and citizens in order to acquaint with the governorate's needs for development and service projects. The blessed steps comes as part of future visualization of cities in Oman and decentralized comprehensive developments that will cover various governorates of the Sultanate. His Majesty the Sultan's keenness is to utilize natural resources in the Sultanate in order to create financial revenues that will be used in developing infrastructure and implementing service and development projects in all wilayats of the Sultanate. In terms of road network projects, the Ministry of Transport, Communication and Information Technology is implementing a Sharqiya Expressway which links the governorate of Ad-Dakhiliya to the governorates of North and South Sharqiya. The road starts from the Wilaya of Bidbid in Ad-Dakhiliya Governorate to the Wilaya of Ibra as the first phase. The second phase starts from the Wilaya of Ibra to the Wilaya of Sur. The ministry is also now working on adding 2 more lanes to dual carriageway linking Ar-Rusail and Bidbid. All the governorates of the Sultanate actively contribute to the economic integration of the Sultanate through agriculture and fisheries wealth, tourism and natural resources. The governorate of Dhofar, with its free zone in Salalah, plays a major role in the economic map of the Sultanate, as the investments are expected to reach 7.7 billion Omani Riyals by 2028. As the gateway of Hormuz Strait, the governorate of Musandam represents one of the main pillars of Oman Vision 2040 due to its strategic location overlooking the Sea of Oman, which will play a pioneering role in strengthening the blue economy in Oman. The governorate of Al-Wusta is considered the compass of the future economic vision of Oman. Thanks to its unique strategic location, mega projects like Dry Dock and Free Zone, economic economic potentials, natural resources and fisheries wealth. The governorates of North and South Al-Batina also comes on top of Oman Vision 2040, thanks to the mega investments and economic projects in the agriculture and fisheries wealth, logistics in addition to the free zones.
The Ministry of Defense and Sultan Armed Forces celebrated today the official launching of Al Samud radio affiliated to the Sultan Armed Forces. The ceremony was presided over by His Highness Said Shihab bin Tariq Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for the Defense Affairs. The importance of establishing Al Samud radio for Sultan Armed Forces came in enhancing its exerted efforts towards its national duties, which contributed in achieving the comprehensive development. Al Samud radio aimed to use features of the radio mean and contemporary communication means and modern technologies to show the great contributions where the Sultan's Armed Forces supported other governmental bodies that embodied plans of comprehensive development plans in the country, in addition to highlight its national tasks that ensure to achieve the required national aims. It also provided diversity media content that included historical, cultural, military and development fields. This is the Sultan of Oman television. Before we into tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq presides over the meeting of the Council of Ministers at Al Baraka Palace. His Majesty Sultan issues 2 royal decrees. His Majesty confers orders on a number of Their Highnesses and Excellencies and commanders of the Sultan's Armed Forces, the Royal Oman Police and other military and security apparatus. His Majesty receives cabinet greetings on the occasion of assuming power. And the Sultan marks 11th of January anniversary of His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq assuming power. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from all of us here in the newsroom and the studios. Good night.